So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down all my settings I use on shoots and everything that I do, from my color profiles, my audio, and all my 5 custom preset settings. So this is everything I use when I'm going on client shoots or just filming YouTube videos or filming anything in general. Hey guys, my name is Dangyou. I'm a cinematographer, YouTuber. This channel is all about helping budget cinematographers and filmmakers and people that are interested in the Micro Four Thirds system. So let's dive into my 3 main color profiles. The first one is natural. When I'm in a pinch and I cannot color grade, I tend to just trust on the natural. My settings for this is going to be -2, -5, 0, and 1. It's really clean. It's super simple, and just with a quick color grade, honestly, your shot turns out really stunning. My second profile that I use most often when I am doing client work and projects and want to get a really nice color grade into it is Cinelike D. The reason I use Cinelike D over Vlog is 1, it is free, and 2, it is honestly just something where I know I'm gonna get a really good color out of it no matter what. My settings on this is -1 on contrast. My settings on this is -1 on contrast, -5 on sharpness, 0 on noise reduction, and -1 on saturation. And Cinelike D looks like this out of the camera, and just with a quick color grade, you're able to make it look this good. Now, my last one that I will only really use on interviews, and I really don't use it that often, is HLG, Hybrid Log Gamma, when I'm really trying to get a really flat color profile and get a high dynamic range. This is what HLG looks like. It takes a lot to actually work with this footage, so when you color grade it, it looks like this. And again, it looks really nice, but it's a lot of work to get it to this point. So I tend to not really rely on it or fall back on it because I'm not super comfortable with it. Definitely don't shoot anything you guys are not comfortable shooting with. Let's get back to Cinelike D. Next is audio. So for audio on the Panasonic camera, typically what you do on most cameras, since the preamps on the cameras themselves is not that great, and if you're not recording on an external recorder, you're kind of like screwed if you trust on it. So I have all my preamps to -12 in my settings. I have wind reduction just to standard. I am using the Rode Video Micro on a boom pole whenever I am filming any audio or talking bits. I mess around with the EQ and I just adjust it to bring my lows a little bit in and bring my highs a little bit and just reduce a little bit of the static and noise in the background. So this is what the audio sounds like with no EQ on it, and this is what the audio sounds like with the EQs on it. Let's dive into my 5 custom preamp settings. So first off is my 4K 24 frames a second, 1/50th of a shutter. My second one is 4K 60 frames a second. This is going to be at 8-bit 420. This is for slow motion and a lot of my B-roll, just so I can slow it down. My other part of my slow motion, or my third preset, is 4K 30 frames a second. So with 4K 60, I can slow something down to 40%, but with 4K 30 frames a second, I can slow it down to 80%, and it just provides a different look where it's not super cinematic and stuff or like super natural, but it's also not super slow motion and overused. I tend to use this quite a bit because I only have to slow down my footage when I'm slowing it down very little, and this just really works nicely. My next one is 1080 30 frames a second with a variable frame rate of 120 frames a second. Let me break that down. So with the Panasonic cameras, you can use this thing called variable frame rate. I just did a video last week talking all about how to use and access variable frame rate. The slow motion is baked into the footage, so that means that it is already slowed down when you're doing playback, and you don't have to do that in post. But if you want to speed that up and have it be real time, you do have to do that in post. Those are my settings for my Panasonic cameras and my setup when I'm out on the field filming stuff for clients, filming my own videos, and filming just stuff for fun. These are my settings that I use. I hope this video was super informational for you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next week, peace.